Ever feel like you're just drowning in information? Like the world's moving so fast and you're struggling to keep up, worried you're falling behind. If that sounds familiar, well, you're in the right place. Because today, we're doing a deep dive into something really powerful our sources uncovered. It's this surprising idea. Simple daily self-education. How it can put you, like, way ahead of the 99% of people who basically stop learning after school. So our mission today, we're going to pull out the biggest insights from our research on, unlocking this power of learning every single day. We'll get into the why, the what, and crucially, the how of building this habit.
Yeah, and what's really striking, looking at the material, is that this isn't about having some kind of special talent or, just getting lucky. It really boils down to cultivating the right mindset and embracing some pretty simple daily habits. Think of this conversation as like your shortcut. A way to get genuinely well-informed, packed with some surprising facts and real strategies for growth that actually lasts.
Okay, so let's unpack this core idea from the sources. Formal education, school, university, that stuff, it's important. No doubt. It gives you a foundation, a solid base.
Right.
But here's the kicker the sources highlight. Self-education. That's what lets you build beyond that base. Build the rest of your learning tower, so to speak. Grow beyond average.
Mm.
And the data suggests most people, well, they get that diploma and boom, learning kind of stops.
Yeah, they hit the brakes.
Exactly. And in a world changing this fast, where skills constantly shift, stopping learning means you fall behind. It's almost inevitable.
That really is the heart of it. And what's fascinating is why self-education is so potent. First off, it's totally personalized. You learn what you care about, what helps your goals. No boring homework on stuff that doesn't matter to you.
Right, you pick the path.
Exactly. Second, it builds discipline. Choosing to learn, especially when you don't have to, that strengthens your character. It's a deliberate act. Third, it sparks curiosity. The more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn. It feeds itself.
Keeps you asking questions.
Precisely. And maybe the biggest thing today, it's always available. Free resources are everywhere. YouTube, podcasts, articles. The best knowledge is often out there for anyone.
And this isn't just theory, right? The sources point to people like Steve Jobs. Famously dropped out of college.
Mm-hmm.
But he never stopped learning. Calligraphy, design, tech. He kept learning, connecting dots, and, changed everything.
Yeah, incredible example.
Or Elon Musk, learning about rockets by reading books, by asking experts tons of questions.
Taking that initiative.
Exactly. He didn't wait for a class. He just went for it.
Yeah.
These examples really show that huge learning happens outside traditional walls.
Yeah.
So the big distinction our sources make is formal education helps you fit in. Self-education helps you stand out.
Well put.
And the path. The sources boil it down to 4 words. Learn, apply, repeat, grow. Simple, direct. That's the engine for real change. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, according to the material. The secret isn't these massive, occasional efforts.
Right.
It's about doing something small. Every single day. Maybe just reading a few pages, watching one short video. It feels tiny.
Almost insignificant day to day.
Yeah. But the sources show how these little actions, they add up in ways that are kind of mind-blowing over time.
That's the compound effect in action. And it's almost like magic. The sources use this great example, read just 10 pages of a book each day. Seems like nothing, right? 10 pages.
Totally doable.
But stick with it for a year. That's 3,650 pages, which is what, about 15 average-sized books?
Wow. Okay. 15 books.
Yeah. Now, really think about that. Ask yourself, how different would your mind be, your thinking, if you absorbed 15 books this year? The key concept here is consistency, just showing up regularly. Doesn't matter how fast you go.
Just keep going.
Exactly. Even 15 minutes a day, if you do it for 100 days straight, that builds momentum. It's like this invisible force pulling you forward, makes it easier each time.
And there's this fascinating identity shift the sources talk about, too.
Oh, yeah. That's powerful.
You stop saying, I'm trying to learn, and you start thinking, feeling, saying, I am a learner.
Mm-hmm. It reframes everything.
It totally does. It's not just words. It changes how you see yourself and then how you act. You look for learning opportunities. You're less afraid of challenges. Your progress just speeds up.
It's a fundamental shift in self-belief.
And the good news is you don't need huge chunks of time. The sources really push micro-learning.
Yeah, fitting it in.
Right. Listen to a podcast while you walk. Watch a quick lesson during your coffee break. Read an article while waiting somewhere.
Using those little pockets of time.
Exactly. Those moments add up. It hammers home that point from the material. Habit beats talent when talent doesn't practice. That's huge for anyone wanting to improve.
Absolutely. It levels the playing field.
So, okay, this leads to the big question everyone asks.
Right.
Fine, I'll learn daily, but what should I learn?
Right. A very practical question.
And the sources are pretty clear.
Mm.
Not all learning gives you the same leverage. Choosing wisely. That gives you more power, opens more doors. It's about being strategic.
Yeah, if we look at the bigger picture, the advice is basically prioritize based on your goals, what moves you forward. English comes up again and again in the material as a prime example.
Why English specifically?
Well, think about it. It's often called a gateway to global knowledge, a huge chunk of the internet, top universities, international business. It all runs on English.
So it's like a key.
Exactly. A tool for freedom, really, giving you access. But beyond English, the sources list other really smart areas. Things like communication, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, huge these days, financial literacy, and, of course, technology skills.
Skills that apply everywhere.
That's the common thread. They're relevant to real life, and they're adaptable. Useful in lots of different situations. That's a good investment of your learning time.
So, practically speaking, how do you approach this? The sources talk about being a generalist versus a specialist.
Mm-hmm. There's a smart strategy there.
They suggest starting broad. Be a generalist. Explore different things. Maybe languages, maybe business, maybe health, art. See what clicks.
Find your spark.
Yeah. And then once you find something that really grabs you, that's when you dive deep. Become a specialist in that area.
So it's exploration, then focus.
Right. It ensures your learning is intentional. You're not just scrolling randomly. You're learning with purpose, asking, how does this help me?
And to make sure that learning actually sinks in, the sources really emphasize active learning, meaning doing something with the information. Don't just read or listen passively. Try summarizing it in your own words. Keep a learning journal. Reflect on it. Even better, trying to teach it or explain it to someone else.
That really forces you to understand it.
Exactly. It turns passive intake into deep, memorable, useful knowledge.
Okay, let's tackle something a bit tough now. A hard truth the sources address directly.
Uh-huh.
Why do most people stop learning after school? It leads to this complacency, being okay with average.
Yeah, settling.
But obviously, if you're listening to this, average isn't your goal. You want more.
Right. And the material breaks down why that 99% often stops. One big reason. Believing learning has an endpoint, like a diploma. They don't see it as lifelong.
Which it has to be now.
Absolutely. Second, they get sucked into distractions. Social media, endless entertainment. Designed to grab attention, not build skills. Third, and this is a big one, is the fear of looking foolish. Fear of mistakes.
Yeah, nobody likes feeling dumb.
But the sources remind us every single expert was once a total beginner. Mistakes are just learning. They're essential feedback.
You have to embrace the awkward phase.
You really do. And finally, there's often a lack of accountability. No system, no tracking, so it's easy to just drift away from it. Now, contrast that with the 1% mindset the sources describe. These are people who choose to keep learning. They see mistakes as data. They build systems. They pick challenge over comfort. It really makes you ask yourself, what choices are you making every day with your attention, with your time?
And that leads to such an empowering point from the material. Becoming better is not about big leaps. It's about small, daily choices.
That's it, right there.
This 1% mindset, it's not magic. It's not genetics. It's a decision. Anyone can make it.
A conscious choice.
Yeah. Choosing to learn a little bit consistently. That's what separates you. Not to feel better than others, but to become better for yourself, more capable, more insightful.
For your own fulfillment, ultimately.
Okay, so we all want the results, don't we? Fluency, confidence, success, whatever it is.
Sure. The outcomes are appealing.
But the sources make this critical point. Everyone wants the results, but very few people build the habits that create those results.
Ah, the gap between desire and action.
Exactly. And that's where the daily learning routine becomes your superpower. It's based on that simple truth. Discipline beats motivation.
Yeah, motivation comes and goes. It's unreliable.
Totally. But discipline, that's the engine. That's what keeps you going when motivation dips. A solid routine builds that discipline.
So how do you build a routine that actually sticks, the sources say? Keep it simple and sustainable.
Not trying to do too much at once.
Right. Don't aim for hours right away. Even 15, maybe 30 minutes of focused learning. If you do it consistently, it's incredibly powerful. Frequency over duration, especially at first. Pick a fixed time. Make it automatic. Morning, lunch, evening. Whatever works for your life. Anchor it to something you already do.
Like after brushing your teeth or during your commute.
Perfect. And then tailor it to your goals. Learning English, maybe 5 minutes vocab review, 10 minutes reading or watching something, 5 minutes writing or speaking about it.
Like that 20-minute routine example they gave.
Exactly. 5 minutes vocab, 10 minutes input, video text, 5 minutes output, write speak. Super focused, high impact for the time invested.
That seems really manageable. Another great tip from the material is tracking your progress.
Oh yeah, visually seeing the change.
Right. A notebook, a calendar, an app. Just mark off those study days. Seeing that streak grow, that's motivating in itself.
Builds momentum. And if you miss a day...
Don't beat yourself up. Just get back on track the next day. Consistency over perfection. Also, the environment matters. Find a quiet spot. Minimize distractions, especially the phone.
Put the phone away.
Seriously.
Okay.
Because, as the sources stress, quality matters more than quantity. A short, focused session beats a long, distracted one every time.
Absolutely. And one last piece that often gets skipped. Reflection.
Taking stock.
Yeah. End of the week, just ask yourself, what did I learn? What was hard? What was easy? How can I make next week even better?
It turns learning from just doing stuff into an actual improvement cycle. You fine-tune your own process.
Makes sense. So as we wrap this up, the big takeaway really seems to be that daily self-education. It's not just about knowledge.
No, it's deeper than that.
It's about building a growth mindset. This core belief that, you're not fixed. Your intelligence, your skills, they can grow with effort.
That mindset changes everything.
It really does.
Yeah.
Challenges become opportunities, not threats. Mistakes become lessons, not failures. You start seeing the potential for growth everywhere.
Which brings up a really personal question for everyone listening, doesn't it?
Yeah. What kind of legacy are you building? For yourself, starting right now. The sources constantly link this learning habit to genuine transformation. And importantly, to freedom.
Freedom in what sense?
More choices, more confidence, a clearer view of the world and, your own place in it. It just opens things up.
That's powerful. And it circles back to that final thought from our sources. The future belongs to those who keep learning.
Powerful statement.
So the question for you listening is, what's the one small step? The one deliberate learning action you'll take today to be the person who keeps growing, keep learning, keep growing. That's where your freedom lies.